There's a scene that repeats itself in millions of homes every morning. A woman wakes up in the dark, before everyone else. She drags herself to the kitchen, turns on the light, and faces a sink full of last night's dishes. And there, in that heavy silence at 5:30 a.m., before even taking her first sip of coffee, she already feels it. I'm not going to make it through today. Maybe that's you. Maybe you're listening to me right now while folding laundry, or in traffic on your way home from work, or in those 5 stolen minutes between putting the kids to bed and collapsing from exhaustion. And I want you to know something. What you're feeling right now, this weight, this tiredness that's not just physical, this feeling that you're walking in the dark, didn't catch God by surprise. Actually, let me tell you something that might completely change how you see every obstacle in front of you. But first, do me a favor. If this conversation touches the right place, subscribe to this channel. And think about that friend you know who's exhausted, who's almost giving up. Share this with her, because sometimes the word that will save someone's day comes through our hands. Now, take this moment with me. No matter where you are, take a deep breath, because what we're going to talk about today isn't one more thing for you to add to your spiritual to-do list. It's about discovering that someone already did the heavy lifting for you. There's a name in the Bible that many of us pass right over without noticing its meaning. In Micah 2:13, God is called the breaker, the one who goes before his people, tearing down walls, opening doors, removing obstacles. Picture this. While you're standing there, paralyzed, looking at that impossible mountain, Jesus has already climbed it. He's already made it to the other side. He's already prepared the way. But here's the paradox that messes with our heads. If the path is already open, why does it feel so hard to walk? Let me tell you about something that happens every morning in your house. You get up before everyone else, don't you? The house is quiet, dark. You come down the stairs on autopilot, tripping over that backpack that's always in the middle of the hallway. You turn on the kitchen light, and you know that moment when you just stand there, staring at yesterday's dishes in the sink. That deep sigh before starting all over again. It's right there, in that moment of silent exhaustion, that the enemy whispers, "You're not going to make it. Look how much you have to do. Look how tired you are. Where is this God you say sustains you?" And you know what's most painful? Is that you really are tired. It's not a lie. Your shoulders really do ache from carrying so much weight. Your eyes really do burn from poor sleep. So you start to believe that maybe, just maybe, God forgot about you in this early morning hour. But what if I told you that right in this moment, in this dark kitchen, with you in your robe and messy hair, Jesus is there, not as some distant religious presence, but as someone who already walked through this kitchen before you woke up. He already saw the dishes. He already knows the weight. He's already opened the path for your day. Every difficult conversation, every complicated decision, every moment when you'll want to give up. The breaker has gone before you, not to spare you from the journey, but to guarantee that when you walk, it won't be on enemy territory. It will be on conquered ground. But here's the part nobody tells you. Even knowing this, you're still going to hear the roar. You know that moment at 3 in the afternoon, when you finally sit down for 2 minutes and your phone buzzes with a message from the school. "We need to talk about your child." Your heart races. Suddenly, all the fears you tried to sweep under the rug come rushing back. I failed. I'm not good enough. I should have done things differently. The enemy is an expert at this. He waits for you to let your guard down. He doesn't come with horns and a pitchfork. He comes disguised as thoughts that seem like yours. He comes as that voice saying, "See? I knew you couldn't do it." He roars. But here's the truth that changes everything. That roar has no teeth. Let me explain with an image you'll understand. Have you ever seen those movies where the hero defeats the monster, but the monster's body still lies there for a while? It's no longer alive, but it still looks scary. It's like that. The cross wasn't some distant religious event. It was a public execution of everything that threatened you. Sin was crushed. Guilt was cancelled. Condemnation was destroyed. But the body is still there. And from a distance, it still looks frightening. So when that thought comes, you're not a good mother. Your marriage is hopeless. You're failing at everything. You need to remember, this is just the echo of a dead enemy. It's the roar without teeth. It's the shadow of something that's already been destroyed, trying to convince you it still has power. And you know what the antidote is. It's not trying to shout louder. It's not beating yourself up for having these thoughts. It's simply remembering, Jesus already defeated this. This battle is already over. I don't need to prove anything. I just need to walk in what's already been won. Breathe that in for a second. Let this truth descend from your brain to your heart. You're not fighting for victory. You're fighting from victory. And this is where something profound happens. Because when you understand that the path has been opened and the enemy has been defeated, you start walking differently. Imagine this with me. It's Saturday morning. The house is chaos. Toys scattered everywhere. That pile of laundry you swore you'd fold on Thursday. Breakfast remnants on the table. You look around and feel that pang of shame. If someone knocked on the door right now, but then you close your eyes for a moment and remember, Jesus isn't waiting for you to clean everything up before he shows up. He's here, in the middle of the mess. He already walked through this living room before you. He already saw the dishes, the laundry, the exhaustion. And he's not standing there with arms crossed waiting for you to become perfect. He's with his sleeves rolled up, walking with you. The open path isn't some immaculate red carpet. It's a dirt road with footprints from those who've already passed through. There are bloodstains, yes, but there are also marks of victory. Every obstacle that seemed insurmountable, Jesus already moved it. Every door that seemed locked, he already has the key. Every frightening valley, he's already planted light inside it. And you know what this means for you, exhausted woman listening to me now. It means that problem with your teenage son that seems to have no solution. Jesus has already been there. That marriage that feels like a minefield, he's already disarmed the bombs. That financial situation that keeps you up at night, he's already seen the end of the story. You're not walking blindly expecting to stumble. You're following footprints, and these footprints lead to a safe place. That even knowing all this, even believing with all your strength, you still have to wake up tomorrow and face the day. And that's where faith stops being theory and becomes hand-to-hand combat. Because look, knowing that Jesus won doesn't make the alarm go off any later. It doesn't make your boss more understanding. It doesn't make the electric bill smaller. So what do you do when the beautiful theology you heard on Sunday crashes head-on into impossible Tuesday? You fight, but not the way the world fights. Think with me. When you're at Target, trying to stretch the budget, comparing prices, doing mental math ... and that little voice comes, you're never going to make it. There will always be lack. You're failing your family. What do? You don't enter into debate. You don't try to convince the thought. You simply declare the truth. This fear has already been defeated. The cross freed me from anxiety. God takes care of me. He always has. He always will. Or when you're driving home after a brutal day, and the tears start falling before you even turn the corner. When the exhaustion is so deep you can't even pray with pretty words. You can only whisper, Jesus, I can't do this anymore. And you know what happens in that moment? The Holy Spirit who dwells in you translates that groan. He takes your wordless pain and presents it to the Father as the most beautiful prayer. Because the real battle isn't against your circumstances. It's against the lie that you're alone in them. You're not fighting to be loved. You're already loved. You're not fighting to be accepted. You're already accepted. You're not fighting to deserve grace. Grace, by definition, is what you could never deserve but is already completely yours. So the daily fight, that internal battle against doubt, fear, guilt, is simply reminding your heart of who you are and who He is. It's training your thoughts to recognize the shepherd's voice amid the world's noise. And every time you do this, every time you choose to believe despite what you feel, you're not just surviving, you're occupying territory. Territory that's already been conquered, but that needs to be inhabited. And that, my friend, that is real faith being strengthened. And when you finally understand that you're no longer fighting for victory, but living in victory ... something beautiful happens. You start to see the spoils. You know that verse in Isaiah 53:12 that talks about dividing the spoils of battle? Those good things that remain after the war is over. Well, they're scattered along the path that Jesus opened. And often we walk right past them without noticing, because we're too busy looking at threats that have already been neutralized. Let me show you what this looks like in real life. It's Sunday night. You're folding the last of the week's laundry. The house is finally quiet. The kids are already asleep. And there, in that silence, you catch yourself smiling alone. Smiling because you remember that horrible Monday, when you thought you weren't going to make it. But you did. You made it through. And look, you're on the other side. That's a spoil. This unexpected peace? It's a spoil. That laugh from your child that you almost missed because you were too busy worrying. A spoil. That moment when you felt God whispering, "I love you," through a song, a message, a sunset you stopped to look at. Spoil, spoil, spoil. Jesus didn't just win so you could survive. He won so you could flourish, so you could have peace in the midst of chaos, hope in the middle of uncertainty, joy that doesn't depend on circumstances. And you know what the most beautiful part is? Every small victory in your life. Every time you chose to forgive when it was easier to hold a grudge. Every time you woke up and chose to trust even without understanding. Every time you knelt by your bedside and surrendered that problem you can't solve. Each of these choices is you collecting the spoils. You're living the abundant life that Jesus promised in John 10:10. It's not a life without problems. It's a life where problems don't have the final word. It's a life where, even with tears streaming down, you can whisper, "But God is good." Because you've learned to see His faithfulness not just in spectacular miracles, but in the silent miracles of each day that you simply didn't give up. And now, after everything we've talked about, I need to ask you a question. An honest question from my heart to yours. What's keeping you from walking? Don't answer quickly. Let that question land for a moment. Because I know you know everything I've said. You've already heard about Christ's victory. You've already sung about it. But there's something holding you back. I know there is. I feel there is. Is it fear of the unknown? Is it that fear that comes at 3 a.m, when you wake up and start thinking about your children's future? The economy? The world that seems increasingly scary? Is that what paralyzes you? Or is it guilt from the past? Those choices you made that you can't undo? Those words you said that you can't take back? That time you lost that you can't recover? Is that what keeps you stuck? Or maybe it's something more subtle. Maybe it's the feeling that you're not strong enough, that you're not spiritual enough, that you don't pray right, don't read the Bible enough, aren't the mother you should be, the wife you should be, the woman of God you should be. Let me tell you a truth that might hurt a little, but will set you free. What paralyzes you isn't the enemy. It's forgetting the victory that's already been won. You're standing still because you forgot the path is already open. You're trembling because you forgot the enemy is already defeated. You're carrying a weight that Jesus already carried because you forgot. He said in Matthew 11:30, "My yoke is easy and my burden is light." But today, you can choose to remember. You can choose to take a step. A trembling step, yes. A step with tears, maybe. But a step, because every step you take in faith, even if small, is a step on ground already conquered. That problem that seems like an insurmountable mountain, Jesus already climbed it. He planted a flag at the top, and the flag has his name written on it. That door that seems locked, he has the key. That shadowy valley you have to cross, he's already lit the path. You don't need to be brave. You just need to be obedient. You don't need to feel strong. You just need to trust the one who is strong. You don't need to see the whole path. You just need to take the next step. And when you do that, when you finally let go of that fear, that guilt, that feeling of inadequacy and take a step forward, you're going to discover something extraordinary. You're going to discover that the impossible was waiting for this moment to move. Because God isn't waiting for you to be ready. He's waiting for you to trust. So tell me something. I really want to know. Of these 3 things we talked about, fear of the unknown, guilt from the past, or the feeling of inadequacy, which has been the hardest for you? Which has stolen the most of your peace? Which has kept you from walking in the freedom that Jesus already won for you? Write it in the comments. You don't have to tell the whole story if you don't want to, but tell me at least what your struggle is. Because when you put it into words, when you take it out of the darkness of your thoughts and bring it into the light, something powerful happens. And I want to pray with you. I want other women who are going through the same thing to see your comment and know they're not alone. And if this conversation spoke to your heart today, if you felt the Holy Spirit nudging that tender place, if you're leaving here with renewed hope, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications. Because this is a conversation that needs to continue. You need to keep being reminded of who you are and who He is. You need to keep hearing that you're not alone, that the path is open, that the victory is already yours. Because at the end of the day, at the end of the week, at the end of this whole journey, the truth that remains is this: the breaker has gone before you. He opened the path. He won the battle. And now He extends His hand to you and whispers, "Come, walk with me. I've already prepared everything. You just need to take the first step." And my prayer is that today will be the day you take that step. That today will be the day you choose to believe that the impossible can, indeed, move. That today will be the day you stop fighting for victory and start living in victory. Because you, my friend, you never walk alone. The breaker goes before you, and He's also by your side. And behind you, He's left a trail of faithfulness that proves He never abandoned you. Not even once. So walk, even trembling, even crying, even without understanding everything. Walk, because the path is already open. And every step you take is one step closer to the destiny He prepared for you before the foundation of the world. Walk in peace. Walk in grace. Walk in the certainty that you are deeply loved, completely accepted, and eternally secure. Walk, beloved daughter. Your Father has already prepared the way.